Imagine doing any regular task, like washing the dishes or folding laundry. Suddenly you feel tired. You progressively get more and more tired, and your limbs begin to go numb. You fall asleep and wake up moments later, a little groggy and disoriented. For some people, this happens maybe a few times a year. For others, this is a frequent occurrence that happens daily. It is a neurological disorder called narcolepsy. I have studied and written papers about narcolepsy before, and I am very knowledgeable on this topic. My father also has narcolepsy with cataplexy. I see what he goes through and help him with everyday life. It must be understood what this condition is and its symptoms, the causes and treatments, and what daily life may look like. Narcolepsy is considered a rare disease that often goes unnoticed and misdiagnosed. Recognizing it can help others in their life or out in public. Narcolepsy is a neurological disorder that affects a person's sleep-wake cycle. There are two types that can be diagnosed. The first is type 1 and is the most common, narcolepsy with cataplexy. This is defined by the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke's article, Narcolepsy Fact Sheet, as having low levels of hypocretin, a certain brain hormone that regulates REM sleep. Cataplexy is sudden loss in muscle control due to emotional response. Those with cataplexy lose feeling when emotions like anger, joy, sadness is instantaneously being expressed. It can happen during a meal, conversation, or when doing simple activities. Of course, this is different depending on each person and their circumstances. These sleep attacks can happen twice a year or multiple times a day. Other symptoms may include sleep paralysis, hallucinations, and excessive daytime sleepiness. Type 2 is narcolepsy without cataplexy. According to the National Institute for Neurological Disorders and Stroke, they have a normal amount of hypocretin levels, and the symptoms are less severe. The person will not suffer from cataplexic attacks. Now that narcolepsy has been clearly defined, I will discuss the causes and treatments for this disorder. Not a lot has been identified for the causes of narcolepsy, and although there is no cure, medications are available. As I've mentioned before, the levels of hypocretin in narcoleptic patients are significantly lower than those who do not have narcolepsy. This is one of the main causes. According to the article Narcolepsy Medline Plus Genetics, made by the U.S. National Library of Medicine, the loss of neurons in the hypothalamus, which produces hypocretins, is what causes narcolepsy. However, it is uncertain what prompts the death of these brain cells. Some other factors would be head injuries and genetics. Although, according to the National Center for Biotechnology Information, it is unlikely that it will be passed down as there are very few cases. It mostly occurs randomly. Medications can help, but this is a lifelong disease. According to the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, modafinil is the most common drug and usually prescribed first and has the least amount of side effects. Others are amphetamines, antidepressants, and sodium oxybate. However, those drugs must be monitored closely as they can be very dangerous and addictive. In addition to taking medications, making lifestyle changes can help in maintaining a normal schedule. The article recommends exercising daily, avoiding smoking and drinking caffeine or alcohol before bed, and taking short naps. This can help a narcoleptic person maintain a balanced life and sleep schedule. As a result, even with the medication, living with narcolepsy is very challenging. Therefore, day-to-day life changes based on this condition. Depending on which type of narcolepsy has been diagnosed, learning to handle triggers or making adjustments will be a huge obstacle. Depending on the state you live in, restrictions could apply to you. For example, in some states, you would be required to have a doctor sign you off in order to obtain a driver's license. Narcoleptic people are not allowed to have a pilot's license. Being in public by themselves in a group setting also comes with difficulty. My father once told me he and a group of friends were eating in a restaurant and he fell in his soup. Even now, there's an inside joke between him and I where I say, "the chicken," and he almost instantaneously falls over. It's not always funny though. There is always the risk of having a narcoleptic or cataplexic attack and not being able to receive the proper help. Usually, the best thing to do is make sure their airways are not being blocked and wait until they regain consciousness. Narcoleptics can always tell when they are about to have an attack and find the nearest chair or wait to do an activity. It makes being independent harder than normal for those with this condition. To bring this speech to a conclusion, we discussed what narcolepsy is and how it affects a person, the treatments and causes known for this disorder, which isn't much, and what a day for them would entail. Including the hardships they face, narcolepsy is considered a rare disease that often goes unnoticed and misdiagnosed. Recognizing it can help others in their life or out in public. Thank you for listening.